Hi, I'm Katie, and I'm a plantaholic. So in case you didn't know, I like houseplants quite a lot. So one of my main goals for this year was to create a book tag. It's something I've been wanting to do ever since I started BookTube, but I never seem to have any ideas. And then when I do have ideas, they've all been done before in many different variations. But then I was watering my plants and I thought I'd never seen a houseplant book tag before. So since plants are something I'm interested in, I thought I would merge the two things together and create a tag. I apologise if there is another tag like this out there somewhere. I did have a little look and I couldn't really find anything that was like what I wanted to do. But you know, there's always videos that manage to escape your searches. So if there is a plant book tag out there, I am sorry. So yeah, let's get into the questions. So the first plant is a Monstera. I saw these plants everywhere to the point that I had to have one. I finally bought one at the start of the year and it's just a little baby, so it has no split leaves yet, but I can't wait to watch it grow. So for this question, I thought I would ask a book that you saw so much you ended up buying. And for that I have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This book was all over my timeline when it came out. And it wasn't just one Caraval, it was a million different editions of Caraval, and there were people trading editions and having a full shelf of editions of this one book, and I felt so left out. So this is a book that I really wanted a copy of, but then I found this edition in a charity shop a few months ago, so I picked it up and now I finally have a copy like everybody else on the planet. I haven't read it yet because, you know, the world went a bit crazy after I bought this and things got stressful. So I haven't been doing that much reading, but I'm sure I will start it in the next couple of months. So the next plant is a cactus. Good old faithful spiky boy. So since they are prickly babies, they can hurt, no matter how pretty they are. Story time. I accidentally knocked one of my cacti over and it landed on my foot. And I was picking spikes out of my skin with tweezers for 40 minutes. Yeah. So considering their spiky nature, I thought this question should be a character you love despite their flaws, because as much as my cacti might stab me aggressively, I love them very much. So for this character I thought I would go with Andrew Mignard from All for the Game. He is a character that has a lot of problems, and I know a lot of those things aren't really his fault because he's been through a lot that has made him the way that he is. But like every character, he does have flaws. There are things about himself that he could change for the better. But despite everything, I adore him. He doesn't always act in the way I'd like him to. He can be problematic, but he's one of my favourite fictional characters of all time. I die for that boy. And so would Neil, so yeah. So for plant number 3 I have Aloe Vera. And Aloe Vera is a plant that has a lot of healing properties. You will know when you go to the skincare aisles in shops, so many products have aloe vera in them because it's good for you. So for this plant I thought the question should be your favourite comfort read. Now for this I was going to go for Harry Potter because that is a book that just feels like home to me, but in the end I had to pick Carry On because Carry On is probably the most read book on my shelf. When I'm down, that is the book that I just want to dive back into, and no matter how many times I read it, it still gives me those same feelings that I had the first time I read it. So that is my ultimate comfort read. So for plant number 4, it's a good old succulent. I have so many succulents, literally so many. A lot of them are in another room because there's not enough light in this room and they demand a lot of light. But I have a little baby one. Here's another story time. A few years ago, a leaf accidentally got knocked off my main succulent, so I read up on propagating and I planted the leaf, and now I have this good boy. This is my little baby that I grew from a fallen leaf. So since then I've been propagating leaves left, right and centre. I have trays all over the house with single leaves in that are growing little baby plants. It's so fulfilling to watch them grow. 10 out of 10, would recommend taking a leaf off a succulent. So a succulent is a plant that has so many different varieties. There is a succulent out there for everyone. No matter how bad you are at looking after plants, there will be one succulent that you can keep alive, I can guarantee. So since there are so many of them and you see them everywhere, I thought I would have a book trope that you actually love. Because we always hear people complaining about tropes they can't stand. And I'm one of those people. I have things in books that when I read them, I just, no, love triangles. Love triangles. But there are a lot of tropes that no matter how many times I read them, I just love them. So my favourite trope is probably not surprising, but it is rivals to lovers. And I know a lot of people prefer friends to lovers. And yeah, that's great because they have all this amazing, lovely history and years of bonds and friendship. And yeah, it is wonderful, but rivals to lovers, enemies to lovers, anything that includes two people who can't stand each other, realising that actually they might like that other person. It's just God tier. So plant number 5 is a snake plant. So for this I have a book character that betrayed you. There are endless book characters that are snakes, but the first one that comes to my mind is Malcolm Fade from The Dark Artificers. That man. See, I automatically wanted to love him because he's a warlock and he seemed really adorable in an awkward way, completely wacky, seemed like a fun character, and then he turned out to be a complete snake. The level of betrayal that I felt when I found out that Malcolm was actually the villain. So for plant number 6 we have a spider plant. So this plant produces lots of little baby plants that dangle from its leaves. So for this question I thought I'd ask, what is a book that you wish had a sequel or a series you wish you had more of? And for this one I have The Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson. This damn book! I read it back God knows when, was it like 2014? I loved it. It was so original. It's a book about chalk, but the world was so amazing and the characters were just so interesting and I was excited for a sequel and then it never came. Year after year. Just didn't happen. For the first few years I constantly used to search for updates, but I haven't checked in a while so I don't know what the deal is now. But I really hope he does continue with this series because I think this world just has so much potential and I want more, please. So the next plant is a peace lily, and for this I have a book with a beautiful cover. It has to be Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I've mentioned it time and time again, but I am just in love with this cover for the hardback. Honourable mentions has to be this edition of Carry On because I love the art. There are so many book covers that I love, but yeah, in terms of books I own, Uprooted is my favourite. So plant number 8 is English ivy. Ivy just grows in clumps. It's wild, it's out of control, there's always a lot of it. It will grow where you don't want it to grow. Even my little one here has several stalks that all clump together into one big happy family. So for this question, I want to know, what is your favourite fictional friendship group? And for this, I absolutely have to go with the Gangsy. From the Raven Cycle, there is nothing I love more than found family within a book series. Groups of friends that are completely different but somehow just manage to be a complete set, and the characters in the Raven Cycle, I just love them, no matter how different they are. Even when one of you happens to be a ghost, there's a lot of love in those books. So for number 9 I have an Areca Palm. This is one of my favourite houseplants. So this plant is also known as a parlour palm because it was very popular in living rooms of homes. You do see it all over the place. I can guarantee you in a lot of films and TV shows there will be one of those in the background. So for this I have a book that you think everyone should have on their shelves. There are so many books that I want everyone to read, but one of the main ones is George by Alex Gino. This is just a perfect book for schools to have, for parents to read with their children, for parents to read when their children might be going through similar situations. When it comes to a child realising what their actual gender is, it's a really confusing time and a lot of parents don't really know how to react to that situation and what to do. This book just shows you what a young person goes through when they're having that realization. It's just such an important book, so yeah. I encourage everyone to pick this up. And the last plant is a Chinese evergreen. This is a tropical plant that has a lot of different beautiful looks. So for this question, I have favourite fictional world. I struggled a lot with answering this one because there are so many worlds that I adore. One of the first ones that came to mind was of course the Wizarding World, but in the end I had to go with the Shadowhunter world. Even though there are times that I want to escape it because I feel like I've had enough, it's the world that I've spent the most time in. You know, I've been reading these books for about a third of my life now, so everything about that world feels familiar to me. But there's always new things to discover. Those books are just books that I feel at home within the pages of. So yeah, it had to be the Shadow World really. You know, the Shadow World has Magnus Bane, so that was the Houseplant book tag. It's the first tag I've ever created, so I hope you enjoyed the questions. In terms of tagging other people, I'm pretty much a loner on BookTube. I don't really have other channels that speak to me. I just thought I'd nominate a few channels that I really love to watch. So I'm going to nominate Kit Kats Can Read, Megan's Reading Revelations, and Tiny Book Dragon. But also, I just want anyone to do this tag. So if you're watching this and you like the questions and you want to give it a go, then please try it and let me know down in the comments because I would love to see your answers. I hope you're keeping safe in these crazy times. I know houseplants and books are the things that are keeping me sane right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye! So it was one of the... My magnet is melting off of my radiator. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is why you don't put magnets on radiators.